This is not good. But let's see if we can make it better.
This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
Napoleon, like anyone can even know that.
Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. Well, I recently got my son's motorcycle from him. He changed directions on his motorcycling career, as you could say it. Decided to go to a cruiser, and I picked up his Honda Blackbird. Honda CBR 1100 XX Blackbird, and I rode it from Utah down to San Diego without a problem. Parked it in my garage. I went to move it the other day. I had flip-flops on, and the bike slipped, and I cracked the fairing, the upper cowl, front fairing, whatever you want to call it. So I've stripped it all down. I'm so disappointed in myself, but we are going to try to repair it. They sell aftermarket fairings for these things for, I don't know, look like about $150 for the ones from communist overseas country. And I didn't look up the quality of them or anything like that. I've talked to people who've purchased those kind of fairings, and it seems like they're okay. They're not nearly as good as OEM, but I may pick one up. They're unpainted, so I may pick one up and see if I can match this paint and, you know, shoot it. I'm not a painter, so, you know, it's not going to be perfect, but it might be a good backup. But I think the original one repaired, I'm going to be happier, honestly, with that. And anyway, let me show you what I got. I ordered this last night, and it was on my doorstep when I woke up. Thank you, Scamazon. There's, you know, pluses and minuses to everything, but they definitely get things quick. And I've seen short videos of these online. This thing has these little wires, and it just heats up these wires, and you melt them into the plastic, and it's supposed to bond it together. So I'm going to this is the first time I've actually opened this, so I'm going to do a real quick look over on how to operate this, and then we're going to give it a shot. Now, if you've ever bought any sort of stuff like this, you know the instructions aren't amazing, so we'll just see what we got here. I have put one of these tips on here, and I have this old, I think it's a rear, what do you call it, splash guard for a dirt bike. Looks like I've cut it apart. Maybe it was broken, whatever, but we got a little crack there. So let's try it on here first. Make sure we're on the screen. Okay, this thing has a trigger. So you pull the trigger. It has a light. There you go, so you know it's on. And I can already smell it heat. Ooh, you see that? It's already getting red. Gets pretty hot pretty fast, so we're going to heat it up, melt it in here. I'm going to run a fan, I think. There we go. I'm going to let it cool. Yeah, a fan's probably a good idea. Because I think if I don't let it cool and I try to pull this thing out, it's just going to pull that wire out. You got to be careful. I see already that it wouldn't be too hard to push it all the way through. See? There you go. It almost went all the way through. So I think we'll try another one on here. Now what you're supposed to do is cut these legs off of it. That's why they give you awesome little pliers made in a country. Oh. Watch your eyes. Yeah, that one kind of went all the way through. Supposedly these aren't supposed to get hot. It's slightly warm. Alright, I'm going to set up another one and we'll try it. There's my second attempt. I didn't film it, but I just touched the trigger for a second or two, till it got hot. Then I touched the little, whatever you want to call this thing, the little patchy piece. I touched that onto the plastic and then just kind of pulsed the trigger a couple times till it sunk into there. And you can see, you can just barely see on the outside of this plastic where that one is, whereas the first one I pushed it right through. So I'm kind of glad that I attempted this. So I guess we're going to try it on the Honda fairing now. I have the little pieces that go in here. I think I'm going to try to fix this part first, so I taped it on the outside to try to get it as closed as I could. I'm going to flip this over, and I'll probably start farthest away and move towards the opening. This isn't too easy working in here with the camera and all, but I was just trying to show you they give you different types. I figured these would be the strongest to go across a crack like that. So wish me luck. I'm going to try to get in here. Doesn't take long for this thing to heat up. And this is obviously a different kind of plastic than we had on that other piece. So it might cool differently. There we go. Yeah, I don't know if you can even see where I was at. Let me bring you in there and show you that. There you go. That one's just barely sunk under the surface. And you can see I got a pretty tight area to work in there. So I'm going to do a couple more and I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like. There we are inside of there. Sorry about the light. This farthest one closest to the crack, I maybe should have gotten it a little bit over here, but we're kind of limited with space with this bracket in here. So I'm going to pull the tape off the front and show you what it looks like. Hopefully it looks okay. I haven't looked at it myself yet. All right, reveal, I guess, as it were. Okay, well, you can see got a little bit crazy on it maybe there, but we got good adhesion because it's not coming apart. So now I think what I'm going to try to do is fit these broken pieces in here while I still have a little bit of flexibility. See how this opens a little bit there? Try to get them in there, and then hopefully they'll all hold. I may have to put a dab of super glue or something to keep them in there, and we'll patch that in, patch across here. And there was another crack that was on this when I got the bike, so we'll patch that one too. And I guess I just got to be careful not to push too hard through that thing. Well, it ain't perfect, but it's going to be one piece again, so I'm going to put some tape over that. I've taped this seam as closed as I could right here. I might do a little bit more, see what I can do, but I don't think no matter how close I get it, there, it even popped in a little bit better. It doesn't matter how close I get it, I think it's still going to have a little gap, and I mean, obviously you're going to see it. So, alright, I'm going to tape that up and we'll hit it on the back with this plastic welding tool. I think that I've gotten a little bit better at it. I'm just putting it right on the plastic and then pulsing the trigger, or holding the trigger for a couple seconds till I start to see it melt, and then let the trigger off, and you can kind of feel it push in, and then leave it there until it cools a little bit. Yeah, I think what I'm learning is that maybe if you put a cold rag on the backside, it might prevent the whatever, the distortion that we saw there. But at this point, I just want this thing to be in one piece. And if it holds, we could sand this all down on the outside, put a little bit of filler, and paint this as well. So it's always an option. I'm going to continue on. This is the crack that was already on the bike here. I put a couple there. I didn't quite go all the way to the end. I don't think this is cracked all the way through right there. but maybe I'll put one more there just in case. You know, old military training always taught me that you're supposed to drill a hole at the end so it doesn't continue to crack. You stop drill it, but I don't really feel like drilling a hole through here, but maybe I'll put one more right on the outside edge of that one, kind of like I did here. And I've already trimmed the ends off of these. Now for where the little pieces go, I think I'm probably just going to put glue on that because it's such a tight spot with this bracket right here that it's going to be tough to get in there. So I think I'm just going to slather a bunch of good glue on the outside here, and maybe I'll put a little bit, or on the inside, maybe I'll put a little bit on the outside, but yeah, I'm going to glue that right now, and then we'll flip this thing over and see what it looks like. This thing also comes with this tip, which you're supposed to be able to heat up and melt the plastic to smooth it out. So we'll try that just a little bit, maybe right here, just to see what it does. Let's hold the trigger down. Well, it definitely doesn't get hot as quick. I don't know if it's getting hot at all. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. So you can use that to smooth it all out if you want to. Considering the extent of the damage here and the fact that this was my first time using this, I'm pretty happy with it. I would have liked it if this hadn't punched through quite as much. These up here aren't quite as obvious, but I mean the plastic is so thin, very, very thin, so it doesn't take much. You have to get enough penetration for these things to work, so like I said, I think if you put a little bit of body filler and sanded this down and then primed it and painted it, it'd be a good way to repair something, especially if it's super expensive or irreplaceable. Like I said, I think you can't get these from Honda anymore, so all you have is the aftermarket. But back in one piece, it's better than it was, and definitely the tool works well. It's $50 is what I paid for it, so it's not terribly expensive. If I would have taken this in to have someone plastic weld it or whatever, it would have cost about the same. Heck, just buying epoxy, you're looking at $10, so it's not too terrible. Alright, if you're liking my content, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and if you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios!